Hello, I'm Executive Chef Joseph Schutze. Welcome to our kitchen. Today I'd like to share with you one of my favorite recipes from Greece. I'm talking about moussaka. Moussaka has many variations throughout the world. The most popular in the United States as well as Europe is the one we know with a ground meat, for example lamb or beef. Also has the bechamel and the eggplant on it. There are some variations throughout the world where the country does not use the eggplant. For instance, Romania and some of the other, and Bulgaria and some of the Balkan islands, they will use a potato in place of the eggplant. Today, the one I'm going to do is going to have the eggplant, ground lamb, and the potato. I've seen many recipes for moussaka throughout the years, and a lot of them include Parmesan cheese into their white sauce or their bechamel sauce, and they still call it a bechamel. The correction should be is the sauce is now called a Mornay sauce. Mornay sauce is bechamel sauce with the addition of a cheese. Many cheese that are commonly added are Parmesan, Emmental, as well as Gruyere. So now that we have that cleared up, let's dive right into making this. Well, here we are with some eggplants, and these long ones are the Chinese eggplant. And what I want to do with them is I'm just going to cut the top off, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut these on a bias, roughly a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. Now that we have all the eggplant sliced, we have it on a sheet pan lined with a wire rack. Let's go ahead and season it with salt. The salt's gonna pull out the extra moisture from the eggplant. That way it doesn't bleed off into the moussaka and just making it very sloppy. At the end of the day, the meat and the tomatoes have to be very, very thick, and the bechamel needs to be thick, just like a custard. Well, now that we have the eggplant sitting with its salt, let's go ahead and preheat a Dutch oven and add some olive oil. We'll then begin to sweat our onions. Now that the onions are beginning to become translucent, let's go ahead and add our garlic. We'll continue to saute this for about another minute. Now that our garlic has cooked for a little bit, let's go ahead and add 1 bay leaf and 1 cinnamon stick. Give it a stir and let this cook for about a minute or two. Let the flavors develop and become aromatic. Let's go ahead and add our lamb. We're gonna cook this until it browns. Well, now that our lamb is pretty much almost completely brown, I now would like to add a little bit of salt. Let's add our crushed tomatoes. Then I will add my tomato paste. Gently go ahead and stir this around. Then we're going to reduce the temperature to low and just allow this to simmer until it thickens up. Now that our lamb is simmering, I have a pan on with some grapeseed oil. I'm going to pan fry the potatoes. Well, here we are, some nice golden brown. And let's go ahead and remove them. Transfer to a plate with parchment paper. And now it's been our 20 minutes. You see all the water coming off the eggplants. So what I like to do is I'll flip them upside down and transfer them to a sheet pan that's lined with some parchment paper and paper towels. I want to absorb these and dry them because the next step of the process is I'm going to grill these. The alternative to that is you could pan fry them like we are the potatoes, but just something about grilling to me seems a lot better. One, it's a lot less fat involved, so it's healthier. Number 2, grill marks are cool. And number 3, the grilling also adds a nice character and a better flavor than just simply the pan frying. So we'll allow these to sit for 10 minutes or so. Season them with a little bit of oil and a little black pepper. And keep in mind, because the salt was on there, it not only extracted a lot of the water, it had also seasoned it with the salt. Well, here we are. Along the way, I was skimming a little bit of the fat away, but there wasn't that much on it. It's got a lot of flavor, and it's nice and thick, and that's the way we want it. It is still moist and not dry at all, but it is thick. So after tasting it, I want to adjust the seasoning a little quick with a little bit more salt, and then I want to add my oregano. I like to add my oregano at the very end, simply because I don't want the herb to go bitter. And for long cooking processes, I don't want to lose the flavor at all. So right now, we'll give this a stir, remove it from the heat, and then take off any excess fat if we like. And we are going to get ready for assembly. Now for assembly, I like to begin with my potatoes. I will go ahead and shingle those around. Next, I will spoon in my ground lamb. Now I want to spread it out evenly across the entire surface. Now it is time for the Mornay sauce. Now I will put in my eggplant. Now I will take a little bit of the leftover Mornay, drizzle some around. And then we transfer it to the oven, 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and bake it until the internal temperature is 165 degrees Fahrenheit, which won't take long simply because the items are still pretty warm and everything's already cooked. Well, there you have my moussaka. A little different than most people would think. But I like all the elements of the moussaka, whether it has the potato, the eggplant, the lamb. I'm all about it. I love it. So when I have a beautiful product like an Indian eggplant, I want to keep its shape and showcase it. That's why I cut it in half and left it a little larger. If I were using the globe eggplant, otherwise known as the American eggplant or even the Italian eggplant, those are just the normal purple ones that you see all the time. The Italian's eggplant is just a little smaller than the American. There I would have just sliced it into a coin cut, and that would have been that. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I hope that you learned something about moussaka, and I hope that you give it a try. Again, I'm just showcasing a little elevated version of it. Feel free to make it how you please. You could just slice the eggplant. A lot of people just pour the bechamel or the Mornay sauce directly over the top of everything and bake it that way. Again, you know, it's up to you and how you envision your dish to be. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And please subscribe if you're liking the content of our videos and be up to date with all of our posts. Jó étvágyat!